Hello and welcome back to my Diablo 4 Let's Play series. This is episode 14, and I'm Lokezu. Glad to have you here. Now, yesterday, I know I got a little cranky towards the end. I mean, granted, I did stream for 5 hours. And the last hour, I was just really ready to get off the game. But there was no clear, good stopping point, so I just kind of felt like I was being forced to continue playing to the point where I finally was just like, screw it. If I get to spend some time running back over to that area, I will. I mean, I had said that I might come back later and stream some more. I did not. I ate my food and went to bed. Had a job interview today. Hopefully it went well. I thought it went well. But you never know. Yes. Nice. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I went on and looked up how to kill the butcher.
An outsider. I could use your help. A dying knight mistook me for his confessor. He spoke of sacrilegious things. He said his party of knights found a secret to life eternal. A red chalice. Said the bishop leading them ordered them to drink of it. Deep. He confessed they shelter now in a place he called the Sanguine Chapel. The chalice must be retrieved, and I must leave. Find me at the Bear Tribe camp when you have it. Not much. I couldn't find any record of it. But the knight said it was right under the father's nose, through a side door beneath the Alabaster Monastery. The knight said they found the red chalice in ancient ruins, far underground. It was covered in dust, yet still full of fresh blood. Disoriented after that. I could only make out a few words. Blood sermon. Sin. The man was petrified.
That reminds me of there were a couple Diablo books that I read back in the early 2000s that I thought were really good.
Not while I'm in town.
And one was Warlord of Blood, or it had to do with the Warlord of Blood. Horizon, the creator of the Arcane Sanctuary's brother.
I cannot do that here.
A guy finds the Warlord of Blood's armor and puts it on, and then he can't take it off, and hilarity ensues. But anyways, I went online and I was looking up how to kill the butcher and got some strategies. One was to run around him counterclockwise. You know, they said to keep a distance, but yeah, most of the other strategies said no, you want to stay close because when you keep a distance, he does his most dangerous attacks. Um, the other was again just happen to encounter him in a place where there's an elevation change, you know, like one of them climbs, and just climb up and cheese him. So, you know, we'll see. And then, you know, I did type in, you know, why they added level scaling in this game. And a lot of people have the same complaints I do. It kind of ruins the experience. You know, leveling up and getting more powerful doesn't feel like it accomplishes anything when the enemies just level up with you. I mean, yeah, I get what they were going for. The game remains hard no matter how powerful you get, but
Not while I'm in town.
I don't know. It's just I think
Blessed are those who bask in the light. Let our faith be our armor against the encroaching darkness.
I think they made a major blunder in making it so the enemy scale to you. Although I have heard that there have been updates to, like, on tier 1, world tier 1, I don't know if that's true or not. Um, Granted, used to be originally when this game came out, I guess they'd go all the way to 100, which again, like I was saying, makes bosses like the uh, the butcher kind of shitty to deal with because, you know, again, in the original Diablo, when you encountered the butcher, you were actually supposed to skip him, go get stronger, and come back and deal with him later. You don't have that option on a game like this. You know, if you're having trouble with a particular area, it's too tough, you go grind. Your natural instinct would be to go somewhere and grind and get stronger and then come back. Well, when you come back, they're just going to be as strong as you are. Like, your grinding was pointless. To the point where somebody even said that I'm actually playing the game wrong. By doing all the side quests and leveling up like I have been, I'm just making things harder for myself. You know, he said he did 2 playthroughs and one he played like mine. And leveled up, did all the side quests and did everything organically as it came. And then he said his second playthrough he played the same exact character and build, or type of character, class of character and build, but you know, in that second playthrough he played it as if he were low leveling the game, so he just rushed through the acts. And he said that the second playthrough was actually way more gratifying because it was so much easier than the leveled up character playthrough, which is kind of anti what you would think of a Diablo. You'd think the higher level, the more powerful you would get, the easier things would become, but it actually becomes harder. And there have been games in the past that have been like that, and I've hated it every time. Final Fantasy VIII, which was a good game. It's one of the few Final Fantasies I've never actually beat to completion, and one of the reasons is it was the first game in the series where they actually did that. They level scaled towards your party, so power leveling was a waste of time. It actually hurt you. Whereas, you know, the first time I played Final Fantasy VII, all the way back in the late 90s. I was much younger and I wasn't into the grind, even though I had already beat Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, da 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 da. I just wanted to get through it. So I kind of ran through it, and I would always get to 2.3 points where I would just be stuck. Um, the first would be the Materia Keeper in Nibble Mountains. If you aren't sufficiently powerful enough, that boss can be a tough one. And then the Wu Tai area, if you're not high enough level, can be really challenging. But that one's that's more of an optional part of the game. You don't actually have to do that. You can just ignore it until much later in the game. Although I naturally always wanted to do it right after you get the tiny Bronco. But the biggest one would be the Red Dragon in the Temple of the Ancients. That boss, if you are not... The next boss fight is like a giant wall thing, and it will finish with the Red Dragon started. So, you know, Final Fantasy VII was a game where you did want a power level to an extent. You were rewarded for grinding levels. Whereas Final Fantasy VIII, you kind of wanted to low level strat that game, because the more powerful your team became, the harder things got. Which to me is so backwards. It's so... and people hated that so much that it's actually surprising. And that also was a thing for Final Fantasy Tactics. You know, yes, the story missions were all set at specific levels, so you would be overpowered on story missions. But then if you had a random encounter, you would just get murked because you didn't have the gear to stand toe-to-toe with the monsters.
I cannot do that here.
Other games like that were Oblivion and Skyrim. And even Fallout 4 were like that. Fallout 76 was horrible with that, but Oblivion, Skyrim, and Fallout 4 were all games where like the monsters scaled to your level. So like it just kind of was immersion breaking for me. It wasn't too bad. I mean, on Skyrim, yeah, I would get to a point where I would start fighting ancient dragons and whatnot, and if my build wasn't just right, I would just get murked by them. But, you know, like, you build all these levels and then you go back to a starter area and you're like, oh, I should just be an actual god mode in this area, and you're fighting in-game enemies in the starter area. And it was immersion breaking in the fact that, well, why would there suddenly be just an influx of super powerful enemies in this area? It's not logical. The only like hair's breadth of an excuse that you could come up with would be for that when you killed all the weak monsters there, it created a vacuum that the more powerful monsters filled. But even that makes no sense, because then why would there have been weak monsters there in general? If the more powerful monsters were wandering into that area, they would have just killed the weak monsters. So, I don't know. It's just level scaling enemies, to me, is one of the worst practices in gaming that I think needs to go away. It needs to become a thing of the past. I'm not gonna say it's ruining Diablo 4 for me. I'm definitely enjoying this game, but it does hold it back from as good as it could have been. You know, and I don't know why they went with it, because it didn't exist in Diablo 2, didn't exist in Diablo 1. Why would you have it in? I'm not sure if it existed in Diablo 3. I don't think so. But, you know, I don't know why they included it in Diablo 4. I mean, they said that they did it because they wanted to keep the game challenging. Well, the game will stay challenging as long as I continue to move into increasingly more dangerous areas. But I don't need the game to be challenging when I'm walking through the very first zone I ever walked through. It's nice to be able to go back to that starting zone and just show off how powerful I've become. But see what happens, you know? Struggling with it, but I think I could have got through most of it, but then the server lag hit, and it was one of those server lags that was an unending server lag. I actually had to log out and log back in to fix it, and I just decided it wasn't worth the effort, because, you know, I was struggling with the mini bosses of the stronghold. When I got to the main boss, I just had this feeling like I was not going to be able to do it. The last stronghold I did, I actually cheesed it by just setting up hydras and running around. Which, you know, as a sorcerer is probably the way I should be playing in general. You know, I'm a squishy character. I'm not meant to stand and go toe and toe as much as I do. Sorry, I'm actually rolling a cigarette. I do want to do some scary game streaming later on. I've been putting it off for years now, and I've got such a library of scary games that you know, it's time to do it. I bought all these games, paid full price for them, and never played them once. Strictly because I've been waiting to stream, and I haven't done it. So later on today, I will be streaming something, and also I will be using my PlayStation camera again. Now that I'm done talking your ear off, I'm sorry, I know I've just kind of, if you're just watching this and not listening, you're like, oh, he's just running around town doing literally nothing. It's because I don't like talking when story elements are happening. And I'm also, even when I'm out in the open world just fighting random enemies and you're not going to miss anything important, I have these noise canceling headphones on, to the extent where when there's enemies and shit happening, there's so much noise coming into my ears that I can't hear what I'm saying. And I'm one of those weird people that like to hear what I'm saying, to know that I'm saying it right and that I'm saying it loud enough to be heard. And when I can't hear my voice, I'll have a tendency to get louder. And, you know, I have neighbors. I don't want to. Alright, how do I get up there?
Ah, you've returned. Come, let us speak inside.
Yeah,
Out of the cold.
And that piece of shit Anarius wouldn't do anything for me because he's working with Lilith. I mean, I don't know he's working for Lilith, but in my opinion, him and Lilith are in it together. he was cast out of heaven. He had babies with Lilith. Then supposedly he sealed her away and is waiting to fulfill the prophecy so he can return to heaven. No, I think him and Lilith hatched a scheme of taking over heaven, and at the time they didn't have the conditions weren't right for them to pull it off, so he quote unquote sealed Lilith away to avoid suspicion, and then has just been waiting for this time right now when things are right so they can launch their master's plan. This is just a theory. I have not looked online. I don't know how the story is going to unfold, but we'll find out. But you're going to find out, like, I'm a fairly smart dude. And I have always had like a knack. I have had many people tell me that I should have become a private investigator. I have a knack for finding out things before they happen. Seeing things coming. I've ruined movies for a lot of people, and it wasn't like I watched the movie and then watched it again with people who haven't seen it and told them what is coming. Like literally, my first time watching it, I can guess what's going to happen. My mother took me to the theaters when the movie The Sixth Sense came out, and 15 minutes into the movie, not even 15 minutes into the movie, it was actually, oh, hi, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. But 16 minutes into the movie, there's a scene where he has, again in quotations, an anniversary dinner with his wife. Well, there they go. Has an anniversary dinner with his wife, and she doesn't say anything to him, and they kind of play it off as, the marriage is breaking down, and she no longer likes him, and she's not into him. But I picked up on the second what was really happening there, so I looked at my mom and I said, "Hey, Mom, he's dead. He's a ghost." And everybody in the audience that could hear me were just like, "Oh no, that's not true. Shh, you're wrong. Keep it down. Just watch the movie." Well, sure enough, at the end of the movie, you find out that, yeah, he is a ghost all along. And as soon as that twist was revealed, everybody in the theaters, it was like you could hear them turning their heads to look at me. Like, how did this little... Because I only was like 9 or 10 at the time. Oh, hello. Welcome to the stream. Let's do these side ones first.
Penitence. In the heavens' eyes, creating humanity was a sin. They cast him down. Now he seeks redemption and the chance to go home. As prophesied, slaying Lilith is that chance. When he ascends, so shall we all.
Hello, welcome to the stream.
Vigo and I had a good conversation when he returned. He will do his penance. Trust that he is in good hands.
Yeah, I'm actually starting to like Vigo. Where at first I kind of was like, okay, this guy's... He took a bribe that cost all of his men their lives. He was pretty much a coward throughout the whole process of him following me through the mines. The little girl had much more spunk than him, and then he ended up leaving. So it's like, yeah, I did not like Vigo, but through the interactions afterwards, I'm starting to warm to Vigo, and I wouldn't mind. I don't know if there are followers or companions in this game, but I would love to have him be one. I don't think there are, though. I'm not going to look it up, but I just don't see any indication that there's a mercenary or hireling person that is going to sell me a rogue or a barbarian or a paladin.
from the Father's voice to my ears. A spear of light, piercing hatred's heart. First Lilith, then the Primes. He will deliver us from the eternal conflict.
Okay, but Mr. Big in the britches himself talked a lot of shit and looked down on humanity, saying that our crusades were all petty and stupid, but let's keep score. Diablo 1, they killed Diablo. Diablo 2, they killed all three primes. Diablo 3, they killed Diablo again. So your prophecy says you're going to take out Lilith and the three primes, and you're going to take on the primes. Well, at this point, if I see the primes in these games, I'm just going to be like, what the hell? You know, I seen somebody say, let's fight Duriel, so I have a feeling he's in this game. And it's like, how? Why? You know, how many times can these things keep rematerializing on Sanctuary when in every game we go out of our way to make it so that they can't anymore? Again, I don't fully understand the connotations of what happened with the World Stone, and I don't remember the story for 3 that much, other than that the girl that you're helping throughout most of the story, Aiden's daughter, or Adria's daughter with Aiden, ends up being the perfect vessel for Diablo. And I hated that part of the story so much. One, it made no sense for Aiden to have had a daughter with Adria. 2, it turned Adria into this evil person that was actually working for Diablo all along, even though in Diablo 1, at worst, she was a neutral character that helped you defeat Diablo by selling you spells and items and such, and giving you advice. Yeah, the story just kind of ruined multiple characters, and retroactively went back and ruined them. Whereas, like, Diablo 1's hero puts the stone in his head, Diablo 2 retroactively makes him kind of the villain because he becomes the next more powerful vessel for Diablo. It kind of worked, and you kind of knew based upon the story of Diablo 1 that, I mean, when I first watched the end cinema to Diablo 1, when I watched the hero put the stone in his head, I'm like, why? Why would you do that? After everything that you've read, all the lore, you know that this is not the way. Anybody that has ever tried to contain the soul stones, humans are just not strong enough willpower. They eventually become corrupted. But it's like, well, the hero, being who just killed Diablo, felt like they were the strongest possible option. Well, look how that ended. But at least it made sense. Diablo 3 story, just for me, was a huge miss and a whiff, and one of the issues that I had with it was just Diablo being back again anyways. So I'm gonna say right now, if the Primevals end up on Sanctuary again in Diablo 4, story-wise, it'll be poppycock for me. It'll make no sense. It'll be just as if they had him in the game just to make the game more interesting, just to add, it's more gameplay fulfilling than storyline fulfilling. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens.
Yet you stand before me unscathed. I know his ways. That is approval enough for me. In the name of the light, I bless you. May the light flow through you and keep you from corruption and sin. Our victory is prophesied in the heavens.
Oh, so in this world, Anaria is not just full of shit. He actually did create humanity. You know, I'm a Christian, so you know, in real life, you know, there's only one creator, and that's God. The devil cannot create anything. He can only pervert and twist and deceive. But again, even though these games are based off of Christian and religious beliefs with angels and demons and so on, they do divert. I mean, instead of a devil, you have a trinity, a prime evil triumvirate. And then you have the lesser evils, of course. And also, I don't believe that there is, I mean, I think there is somebody that's referred to as the creator, but he has even less of a hand in the events of Sanctuary than the Lord does in real life. You know what I mean? So, you know, who knows? Who knows what happens? You know? I love how they put the level there, even though the level always scales to you, so it's kind of a waste of time. If I'm level 34, the quest is going to be level. The only time that it's useful is like for a while these two were higher level than what I was, but once I got to a certain point, they weren't. Oh yeah, I know it's right there. We're gonna go ahead and take care of this right here. Just because I've already, you know what I mean? I've already leveled to the point where there's no going, the genie ain't going back in the bottle. I should have played a low level character, but again, I went into this game blind. I didn't know what to expect. But when I make other characters, which I don't know if I'll ever stream. Oh, welcome to the stream. Hello. I don't know if I'll ever stream any of the other characters that I make for this game. And there they go. I'll probably play all my other characters off stream, just, you know, because they'll be for me. And also, it'd be nice to play the game with a full screen instead of having like a quarter of my screen taken up for chat and whatnot.
I'm out of mana.
But you live and you learn, and like I said, all my other I really want to make a necromancer, because I love the necromancer on Diablo 2, even though I always played a minion master, which after a certain point would kind of become a useless character. Like I said, I mean, you were limited to a max of 20 points you could assign to any one skill. So, if you put 20 points in summon skeletons, and then 20 points in skeleton mastery, that was as powerful as you could make your skeleton minions.
I lack the needed mana.
Now granted, you could find gear that increased your level beyond level 20, like my sorceress was a frozen orb sorceress, and I think with her equipment attached, I had frozen orb up to like rank 25 or something like that. And also with max rank and ice shard.
I need time to prepare that.
You know. Anyways, with the, you know, with the 20 points in skeleton minion mastery, 20 points in summon skeleton, you end up with skeleton minions that are pretty much maxed out at level. So once you get to, like I've said before, like midway through Act 3 on Nightmare mode, your minions just become and if you put something in that wall that can't be surpassed. Now I do have Diablo 2 Resurrected, and I've heard that they buffed, you know, like I said, the original Diablo 2, there was some imbalance in builds, you know. If you weren't using a bone spear or necromancer, or you weren't using certain builds of the barbarian, certain builds of the paladin, any other build, even if you built them strategically, would just, like I said, hit a wall, and that was it. So even though you had a game where they're supposed to encourage diversity in build, because that's what I like about games like this, or World of Warcraft, where, you know, yes, the classes are the same, but you have different skill trees, so my warlock might be completely different than your warlock, and that uniqueness makes the character my own. But what ended up happening with the original Diablo 2 is you just had everybody funneled into 2 or 3 builds, and that was it. And that, I know now we call those metas. Well, I'm not a fan of games that have metas, because what's the point? You know, where is my individuality shining through if I'm just playing the same build that everybody else is? So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I went into this game blind. I don't want to know the metas. I don't want to play the same way, and I want to know that I can feasibly play through the game and get to be maybe not as powerful as the metas, but powerful enough that I can experience everything. And that's too much of a struggle. Like, I didn't set out to make a fire sorcerer, but started the game in an icy area. I'm still in an icy area, so I would assume that fire would be the best fit. So that's why I ended up focusing on fire, and now I'll probably go back and respec depending on where I'm at. Hopefully I can respec. one thing I didn't like about Diablo 2 is that originally you could only respec your character once per difficulty. Now, that's another thing that I know Diablo Resurrected fixed. They made it so you could respec as many times as you want. It just would cost you some gold, to do each time. It was only free the first time.
It's locked.
I still have yet to organically find keys for these. Like in Diablo 2, there were locked chests, but you found keys, all they would drop from enemies. I'm gonna go back to Diablo Shop and see if I'm supposed to be buying them from somebody or something, Or maybe they come later in the game when I get to a new area. And that brings me, back to, I hope that there's more to the game than just this peninsula that it's on. Now, granted, I understand I've uncovered like 7 or 8 zones, and that's a pretty large area. So this is a pretty large area, and this is a pretty large area, so that's a lot of zones. But just so far it's just been snowy mountains, and then I'd like to see more diversity in the environs. I mean, I get when I look over here, I see Kyrgyzstan, which means this area over here is probably going to be jungles, Kuras type jungles. Dry steppes I see up here is probably going to be like, Act 1 from Diablo 2, that kind of environment. But, where's the desert environment, the Luco Lane type of place, where's that going to be, I just would like to see that this world is...
Need something forged? Come back if you
I don't
need
know.
work.
I mean, when you look at the size of the continents in World of Warcraft, and that was a 20-year-old game, this is broken up with zones kind of like World of Warcraft. But this, is nowhere near as large as even half of one of those continents. So for a game that came out 20 years later, memory is handled a lot better. I would like to see larger than this for the whole game. Then again, like I said, I've
What will it be?
organically kind of leveled through this game. And I'm already level 34 and I've only uncovered 8 of these zones, so now that's doing all the side quests, and I really haven't even gotten into
I'll take it.
dungeons. I mean, I've only done 6 dungeons. So there's a lot to see and do. I just like for there to be more.
Good deal. Father bless.
Oh yeah, while I'm here. Let's repair. Let's go ahead and repair a lot. And we'll upgrade. We'll upgrade this.
Unexpected.
Wow. I know I probably shouldn't be upgrading anything this early in the game, but you know, I just want to boost some stuff. Can't upgrade that. And again, you live and you learn. You know. What do I got? Thirty minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. Our shadow. So we'll do just to, you know. Get some cold resistance going. Yeah, when I was doing the level scaling thing, somebody was like, on Act 2, and I'm like level 40, and I still don't have a mount. Pain. I'm like, oh shit, I'm almost to level 40. I don't have a mount either.
I was never religious until I saw a miracle. Inarius himself blessed the man with the light, got up and walked again for the first time in years, right then and there. The light is real, my friend. Take comfort in it. I was never religious until I saw a miracle. Inarius himself blessed the man with the light, got up and walked again for the first time in years, right then and there. The light is real, my friend. Take comfort in it. You can't take a few steps without hearing about it. The Great War against evil. The day Inarius takes all of us up to the heavens with him. I hope my cat will come with us too.
Let's see what I got going on. I'm just checking out some of these people I've never really interacted with. I came here mostly looking for if there's any. Oh, I could have just walked up these stairs. Ain't that a kick in the pants?
Precious stones to catch the light. Come and see. May the light keep you.
Oh yeah, there's another person that was in there. Not seeing anywhere. Not seeing anywhere to buy keys, so I think maybe that's not a thing. Well, that's loading. Go make me a salad.
I lack the needed mana. I'm out of mana.
Alright, sumimasen, sumimasen.
I'm out of mana. I lack the needed mana.
You know, an enemy type that I always loved from Diablo 2 and I haven't seen yet was like the big Yeti-like things, or they kind of resembled the big red monster that would be in the Looney Tunes cartoons. Like if the cartoons would all be set in like a dungeon or the basement of like a castle.
I'm out of mana.
And this big red I was either stunned or lagging because none of my skills were proccing. But like it was this big red kind of furry heart-shaped monster. And I think sometimes he would catch bug and be like, "Oh, my little pet. I will love him and squeeze him and hug him and hold him and call him George." And I think he was also the monster that when he would catch bugs, bugs would say, "Is there a doctor in the house?"
I'm out of mana. I'm not ready yet.
I'm honestly not using my build the way I'm supposed to be, because I'm kind of just wanting to find a space to stop and eat a bit of my salad, and the monsters just keep coming. But the monster, I'm only bringing it up again, I almost forgot why I started the conversation, is in reference to a monster that appeared, had the same kind of shape and all that in Diablo 2. In Act 1, when you go to the Tree of Inifis to get the Scroll of Inifis, so you could decode the traveling stones and go to Crystal, you fought
Out of mana.
a unique variant of the monster I'm talking about, named Tree something Woodfist. And it was a monster type that you would see a lot towards the end of Act 1. And then they made an appearance at parts of the Kuras jungles. For anybody who's played that game, probably knows what I'm talking about. Treehorn Woodfist or something. would actually work here. Like,
I'm out of mana. I need time to do that.
I finally used my primary skill Hydra as soon as all the enemies are dead. I'm not playing well. But like, you could have a version of that monster in this locale. Like, where are the Yetis? I think there was actually in Act 1 that type of monster I was talking about had a variant called Tundra Yeti. Maybe I'm over leveled or under leveled to have them appear. Although I don't believe that to be the case, because I haven't really seen a lot of variation in the enemies based upon me leveling up.
I'm out of mana once again.
So, who knows? I mean, so far, we've seen your standard fare. I mean, we've had the skeletons and the zombies, of course. And then we've had goatmen. And we've had, wraiths. Well, that's cool. I didn't know I could do that. I've seen succubuses, which I don't think I've seen since Diablo 1. Of course, they're way different they're way less sexualized. Again, I spoke on an earlier video about that. At the time of Diablo 1 was a very different era here in America. I mean, we went from very conservative, very prudish, and slowly have gotten more kind of opened up throughout the decades to more things are acceptable to do than used to be the case. It's kind of like my sister had a daughter named Alyssa, and she was born in 2000, and her favorite show as like a 4 and 5-year-old was Family Guy. I'm like, Jessica, that's an adult cartoon, that's not for kids. And Jessica was like, I don't hide my child from the world, da 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 da. I don't know whether she was right or wrong. I'm not here to judge my sister. But I had a conversation with that niece, and she was like, oh, I hate Simpsons, it's boring. And I'm like, yeah, but you love Family Guy. And she was like, yeah, but Family Guy is way edgier than The Simpsons. And I'm like, well, you know, Family Guy had the... I'm lagging. That was like... The Simpsons came out, I believe, in 1989. And, you know, back then, the show almost got taken off the air because Bart told somebody to eat his shorts. I mean, that was raw and, yeah, again, almost show canceling in 1989, but now that's about as tame as it gets.
It's locked.
You know what I mean? So that's just one example. You know, without The Simpsons, there would be no Family Guy, but you know, Family Guy uses words like bitch and shit and ass and all that on screen. They have jokes that you would have never dreamed of putting. I mean, to say bitch, shit, or ass on television in the early 90s, it just wouldn't have happened. And that's why and Simpsons, love it or hate it, has stayed kind of true to their comedy. They maybe, I haven't watched Simpsons in a long time. Maybe they've gotten a little edgier, but I think they've probably stayed more to their level of humor instead of going full on Family Guy, South Park type of just crude, vulgar humor that again you wouldn't have got away with. I mean, in the 80s, it was a big deal when they started showing sitcom married couples sleeping in the same bed. But that's all that to say is, like, in the 90s, the new edgy thing in the late 90s was like teenage level sexual content, you know. That was what was edgy and cool. Is, oh my god, they drew titties on the succubus and their nipples are bright and stand out. You know, that's how you identified the different types of succubi variants in that game, was their color scheme. And their nipples would, like, if this variant of the succubus, their color scheme was bright pink, well then they would have pink nipples, you know. It was very sexualized, but that was what was edgy in the 90s. And now we're jaded to that kind of thing, so, you know, that's why they went away with it. The succubus in this, although, again, the level of detail that went into the animation of this game was great, but at some points it's a little too good. It's harder to pick out the details on the individual monsters and shit than it was back in the day. The blending with the environments is more organic, whereas like in Diablo 1 and 2, you had the environment, or the ground, the walls, all of that, and then you had the enemy animation pixels, and they kind of stood out. So it was very clear to see the details of the monsters because they stood out from the environment. Whereas in this, they kind of blend with the environment. That and there's so much happening and it's so easy to die.
I'm out of mana.
And you're kind of always swamped by a horde of enemies. In this game, I'll say I've very rarely seen one or two enemies. It's always like a big horde. Like even now, I don't have time to stop and really admire the artwork on these enemies.
I'm not ready yet.
Holy shit, that shambling corpse actually ran towards me. But yeah, one thing I've noticed about this game is the names of the uniques. I think I noticed a unique name yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, that's one thing I kind of lament about this game is I haven't, again, the nameplates and everything, and you were never that as swamped as you seem to be swamped. But I mean, they hoard you on this game, so that you don't have time to stop and read somebody's nameplate. Like Diablo 2, I knew a lot of the uniques. I knew their names, because I had time to read their names. On this, I haven't been able to read. I haven't had time. Shit's happening so fast, and I've got to go through my combos so fast. I don't have time to take it in, so to speak. And that leads into another drawback, where due to the fact that level scale to me, it's not like I can go back later at a higher level and take the time to take in the scenery. Overall, this is a great game. I haven't finished the story. I've dipped my toes in the story, so I couldn't rate the story yet. But outside of that, I would rate this as a good game that I really enjoy playing. But I can't give it a perfect score because there are aspects of it, design flaws, that hold it back.
I'm low on precious mana.
And in many cases, those design flaws that I'm mentioning weren't really necessary. Like the level skilling, Blizzard had said that was done in order to keep the game challenging and dynamic, to increase replay value, which to me completely unnecessary. Because if you're a huge fan of Diablo, you don't need anything to motivate you to replay and continue playing. And like I said earlier, as long as you're moving forward into progressively higher level zones, the challenge will always be there. So yeah, I mean, for me, the level scaling is not only unnecessary, but it's a hindrance to this game. So those are the pedestals coming up. I'm guessing I'm going to have to go right and left to get the mechanical boxes. That salad was good. Delicious. Now let me just go make another. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna make you sit here and wait for me to make another salad. It's gonna be okay. I'm actually, like I said, rolling a cigarette. So, and it don't take me long to do that. I'm just wondering if that was one person earlier that just kept jumping onto the stream, or if it was different people and they all just had the same reaction. They jumped in, seen I wasn't really doing anything interesting to them, and jumped off. But I think it was one person, and I think they kept jumping back on to kind of figure out exactly where I was on the map, because they were going to try and find me and start a party. But as we learned in an earlier stream, I'm not really looking to party in any way. I actually had a guy come on and invite me to his clan, and I'd love to join his clan. But with me blinding, you know, going into this game blind and wanting to experience all that it has to offer for you guys, I kind of want to avoid clans. Just because experiences I've had with clans in the past are like, they're going to come try and help me and carry me through sections and give me overpowered gear early. And it's like, I want to experience the game solo for this stream, if that makes sense. I'm funny, I'm set in my ways. I mean, look at me. Proof is in the pudding. I have no viewers right now. I haven't had a viewer that has come onto the stream for longer than 5 minutes. So I have no viewership, and yet here I am talking away as if I'm talking to people that are viewing. Now that again is, like I've said before, Codename Pizza advised that that's what I should do because people might not watch the stream now. But somebody a year from now might jump on and be like, oh, what's up with that Diablo 4 game? And they happen across my stream. It's doubtful. I think one of the issues that I have is that YouTube's algorithms just... The fact that I'm such a small viewer, the fact that they don't make any money off of me. I think, not to talk too much about YouTube, but, you know, there was a definite period where it was a good idea to get into YouTube, and that period is over. So now trying to start off as a YouTuber, unless you just get super lucky and happen onto the newest game, which I rarely do. No, I don't have rich parents, you know. I wasn't able to afford this game until, you know, it had already been out for 4 or 5 months. And again, I fully was aware ahead of time that I watched how, when this game first came out, it was hugely successful and everybody loved it. And then, for one reason or another, I think the in-game content and also Baldur's Gate 3 coming out led to massive player count drop-off within the first couple months.
I'm out of mana.
Where is he aiming these goddamn meteors? Like, I wasn't even touching my control pad, so why is he aiming way off screen where there's no enemy? I just... That's another drawback of this game. I get that it's a Diablo game, so... No, I'm out of here. Fuck that. What the fuck?
I need more time.
Like, how did he do that? Yeah, I know I'm a coward, but... Butcher will be hard enough for me to kill solo. I'm not gonna even attempt it when there's a horde of enemies around. And actually, that's the first time I've ever encountered him with other enemies around. But anyways. As I was saying, you know, if you weren't on YouTube before, I think the point where YouTube really changed was YouTube TV. So remember, originally YouTube was a you know, platform for small people that wanted to up and come, and it was broadcast yourself, you know what I mean? It was for the small, the little man, you know, to show off their talent and their skills. That didn't rely on the gatekeepers that were the network. Like one thing that I've always kind of joked about on YouTube is that, you know, back in the day you used to see a lot of streamers and YouTubers that had speech impediments or a lisp. And it was like, yeah, that would have never flew on network television. The reason, and granted, again, the really lag. Sorry, I can't hear. Minion my dick. Anyways, I'm gonna just chill here, but you know that all these YouTubers had speech impediments and lisps and stuff, and you know that would not happen on network television. And granted, like I said, YouTube was about the little man and giving guys that wouldn't get a shot elsewhere a shot. But again, it was also a double-edged sword, because like when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, if you had a speech impediment or a lisp, they would put you in special classes in school to eradicate that. My mom had speech impediments and had to take special classes, and now she doesn't have any of those speech impediments. Whereas now we're kind of in this everybody is beautiful frame of life where, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, everybody is beautiful. I mean, and I want everybody to succeed, but YouTube kind of encouraged them that they didn't have to fix their lisp. It's like my son, like I said. He doesn't have just one speech impediment. He has multiple speech impediments. His THs are Fs. So, like, when he says Thursday, it's Thursday. That's kind of baby talk to me. His R's are W's. It's just multiple speech impediments. And nobody is pulling him aside and working with him. I can't myself because his mother uses him as a weapon and keeps him away from me just about as much as she can. The only reason I get to see my son right now is because she wants some time off. That is the only reason. But we're not going to get into that. But yeah, nobody's working with him. And I'm not, I know I sound like an old fogey, you know, like, you're a dinosaur and a misogynist and blah, 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 blah. No, I want my son to have a happy, healthy life. And I'm sorry, you know, yes, he's unique and all that. But when he gets older and he becomes a full-fledged adult, and he goes up and tries to start talking to women, and he comes out with his THs being Fs, and his R's being W's, they're gonna laugh in his fucking face. Because I know how humans are. Speech impediments are a sign of immaturity. I'm not saying they are immaturity. They're just viewed as a symbol that this person is immature. It's like I said, sorry, I can't, I know I keep stopping what I'm saying. And I don't want to just sit there and do nothing to get my long spiels out. Okay. I just had to take one of the headsets off of my ear, so I don't have to stop. But, you know, like, the THs are Fs. Thursday, and the number 3 is free. You know what that comes from? Baby talk. When he was a baby, that's how babies talk. And he talked with baby talk. And where most of us that grew up in a different era got disobeyed like 4 or 5, and my parents were like, okay, it was cute, but enough of the baby talk. It's time to talk like a big person. He never had that. There was no correction. They just let him continue to talk like a baby as long as they wanted. He develops. Anyways, all that to say, you know, I do want to, you know, if you want to be a YouTuber, you gotta have a speech impediment, even though, you know, YouTube was doing that wouldn't have gone on that way. And I say all that to get to the point of what I was around the time, like I said, YouTube was established as for the little guy. Broadcast yourself because the gatekeepers of the network, you know. But then it started with ads. YouTube didn't have to have ads. Of course, ads came with monetization, which means that you could make money to be a YouTuber. Because now you can have ads bought for your stream or whatever. Great. When people like Codename Pizza get to essentially quit their jobs or quit school to full-time stream because now they can afford to because they're getting paid like it's a full-time job. Why would they complain? But then when YouTube TV came about, and now at that point YouTube is actually dealing with those same television networks and setting itself up like a cable company, that changed YouTube entirely. YouTube is not what it was. Now it's just a regular, it's a cable company. It's not a place for the small man. So I said all that basically to say this, and that is that after a certain point, if you were not an already established YouTuber, it's just not going to happen. That's why I feel bad for the Call of Duty Zombies YouTubers like Pizza. Because if you notice, they've all had to, the Call of Duty Zombies, don't even get me started on how Activision and Treyarch have treated them. It's really good. And content has happened for years. So now all of these established YouTubers for zombies are kind of like flailing to find something new to create content about so that they can maintain their livelihoods. Waffles have moved on to Cow World, and I think so has Noah. Pizza's the only one that's kind of still hanging strong, and even he tries to and go do like Modern Warfare and Warzone and stuff like that, and it just, his audience is so hardcore zombies that it's just back to doing zombies. But his issue, like, I'll admit, I don't watch Pizza's content now. And it's not that I love Pizza. I love him. I think he's the best streamer. It's just when he's running through the same Easter eggs that I've seen him run through 100,000 times before, there's just there's no juice left. If I could be a streamer, the way he engages with people that come on his broadcast. For me, it's top notch. The best at it. And again, I started all of this to say that's why I'm home. Because I asked him, I said, I'm looking to start. I've been trying to stream. I haven't grown an audience. It's hard for me because I'm kind of a quieter person. I wouldn't say I'm really an introvert. Once you get in an environment around people that but if you were to see me on the street, I wouldn't say anything. Because again, it would have to be comfortable to show who I really am. And is she never gonna pause? Trying to read that document. Lotus, bishop, something. and then he didn't drop anything but gold. But yeah, you know, I want to engage and I want to grow and become a good streamer. But 2 things he said: be consistent, stream every day, generally at the same time, and your audience you'll be discovered. And I was like, well, and also, like, I don't have any viewers now, so I kind of just don't talk. I have a mic on, but I won't say anything because there's nobody to talk to. And I've noticed that when people do jump in, I'm either so engrossed in the game and that I don't see that they're there until they leave. Like, the other day, those 2 streams where people left comments, I didn't notice that those comments were over there until after the person had already left the stream. And that's how it happens for me. I get so into the game and used to the fact that there's nobody watching that when somebody does jump in, I don't notice them. That's why I'm glad that when I saw people jumping on, I actually noticed. Of course, it helped that I was in the middle of a long spiel and just kind of standing there not doing it. But like his advice for me was, yeah, even though you don't have viewers, just keep talking as if you do. That way when you do get viewers, we used to talk. I hate that.
Bill of Mortality. In the year of the light, 1318, Anno Kejistani, we have buried 92 souls on these hallowed grounds. Abortive and stillborn, 7. Bleeding wounds, 4. Childbed, 2. Executed, 50. Frostbitten, 6. Old age, 1. Removal of blood, 54. Starvation, 3.
Fucking coming. But yeah, and also, like I said, he told me, like, you know, someone might come along later. And that's why, for the most part, I try and keep you guys entertained and keep talking. And that's why I'm saying things like you guys, because I'm assuming that down the line somebody will watch it. Even though that never happens. Let's be real. I'm never gonna make a dime. Okay with that. God, with all these minions and uniques. soon as I kill him, 2 more come around the corner. Like, I'm never going to be a successful YouTuber. I know that. I'm not established, number 1, and number 2, again, streaming is the hardest way to go about it nowadays. Even Pizza has said that not a lot of people partake of live streams. Certain specific things, again, new games, newer horror games, that are super powerful. Like, if I would have gotten Power World the first week of follow. But I don't find out about, I'm not usually find out about the popular games until they're already popular and the well has been dug, you know what I mean? It's been mined out. Oversaturated. But, I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to keep doing what I do. Unfortunately, I don't have a computer. I don't have editing software, so I can't really make videos. And the PlayStation, while it records everything that you play, I'd have to set an alarm clock because it records like an hour long and then it stops that recording and starts another one. And after like every second or third one, it'll delete the one from before. So I'd have to be really good about scripting out what I'm gonna do, how much is gonna happen in this hour, natural stopping and starting points. It'd be super hard. And, again, I don't have the infrastructure. I don't have a computer or recording or editing software to make awesome thumbnails. And, I'm surprised I get anybody watching this with the PlayStation streaming. You know what I mean? A lot of people, I think, look at this PlayStation streaming setup and are like, ooh, that's a poor person streaming. And I am a poor person. But enough of like coming up with excuses why I won't succeed. I'm just gonna keep doing what I do, and if I become successful, great. If not, there's something here for somebody to watch or me to watch later on in life. It's here. It's not going anywhere. This episode 14 of the Diablo 4 Let's Play will always be here for anybody. As kind of like I never see them about to do that. So much. die. That's just a regular enemy. I mean, I knew it was a minion. And I just boosted this up to max level. Again, level scaling. Making all my efforts in vain. Since 2024. Yeah. Well, at least when they're not uniques and minions, they die at a fairly sustainable rate. Which is good, because again, the horde mechanic that this game uses is just limited. Like, all of the Diablos at parts would horde you, they would overrun you. It's like every single group of monsters I run into is like this fucking over dramatic horde. Like, there are no mundane fights, you know what I mean? Oh, I started to fight with two monsters, and wait, out of nowhere, here comes 800 more. There are no run-of-the-mill fights, which I get is what they're doing here, but that was a mechanic in all the other ones. I don't know why I keep doing that. Now granted, due to the fact that I had my headphones on both ears, I was doing that thing where I wanted to have these deep, long-running conversations with things. But I like to be able to hear myself talk, and I didn't want to have a story, so I was literally just standing there doing nothing. You guys haven't gotten 2 hours of content from the game. but I was just thinking like, damn, I've been playing this for 2 hours and all of it.
I need more time.
I love how I'm pushing the button left and it just he dodges a different. I'm really getting tired of all these fucking uniques. It's just too many.
I need more time.
I mean, look at that. It's like I'm doing nothing for these dudes. Only 15 remaining?
I'm not ready yet.
All of this shit is so freaking tanky. Apparently I was going into that. I don't know about. Had enough of y'all shenanigans. I really have to pee, but I'm afraid that I've made it this far and I'll be right back. fast? Okay. Just making sure. The last thing I need is to go in here into a boss fight and start getting server lag. God, that would be so upsetting to make it this far and to lag out. Have to do all of that over again. Oh, but you'll get experience. Yeah, but that ain't worth anything when the enemies level up just as much as I do. Like you didn't mind in Diablo 2. I know I keep harping on this level scaling thing and how much I hate it. But in Diablo 2, you know, if you got to end of Tal Roshan's tomb and lagged out, you're like, well, you know what? I earned all that experience, got all those good items. And you know what? I'll earn more experience going through it again. That'll just make me more prepared to fight Duriel. But in the case of this game, no, you're not going to be more prepared to fight anything because they level up too. I'm gonna stop harping on the level scaling, even though I know I'm gonna bring it up. Right now, I rated a solid buy. Buy it. Don't skip it. Buy it. I am enjoying playing it. It makes me want to play it more. But
I need more time.
Well, tell me there's a little village over there with the waypoint that I've been wanting since the last game. 2 hours and I've only done one side quest. I mean, like I said, I've been doing a lot of yammering. But hey, you know, what else have I got to do today? It's only 5:22. The sun's still up, so it's not dark enough to live stream scary stuff. I'll probably get off here after I finish this quest and eat some more stuff and get right back on, because I do want to complete Act 1 today. Why is it showing both of them? That's way better. The only thing that makes me sad is the mana cost reduction. I mean, that's just way better in every way, except for the resistance to all elements.
Need something forged?
I'm not worried about the weapon. I got a weapon in my stash that I've been wanting to use. Just gonna sell it. But we're getting there now. It's just my gloves and my rings and stuff that aren't red.
Arms for the light. Anything else? Fair trade.
Yeah. One more level. And my character's actually starting to look cool too.
Not ready yet.
Just to go from there to here was like fighting a whole zone of Diablo 2 enemies. That's what I mean when I'm talking about they just overuse of the horde device, or the groups are just too large. Yep. There's that last waypoint.
I could take the cold outside, so long as it's quiet. Never have children.
Not while I'm in town.
Too much sitting inside. Ugh, I think I'm getting fat.
Less talking, more hitting.
Thank the fates that you live. I will destroy the chalice, and with some luck, that will be the end of it. Thank you for all you've done, but please never speak of this again.
What do you think? You think she's really gonna destroy that chalice, or
There now. Back to the battle.
You were right about the food in Yelesna.
They can burn a man at the stake, but they can't season a goat.
where's your Lesna? Oh, down there. I thought this was the burn. Margrave is the burn at the stake. All the waypoints.
Our chieftain heard the call of the ancients, and so we answered. Our destiny awaits us beneath the mountain, and no man or beast will stand in our way. You want an audience with our chieftain? Earn it. Slay our enemies. Hunt the Khazra of the Ice Clan who stalk this mountain. Break their bodies and bring their shattered bones back as tribute. Then, maybe the chieftain will acknowledge you.
Our purpose remains clear, but our spirits are low. Baltok, the chieftain's champion, was recently slain. Now the Khazra are in possession of his weapon, the fabled Grizzly's Maul. It is difficult to ask this of an outsider. Please, reclaim the hammer from those foul beasts. Leaving it in their hands is an affront to our fallen champion. He was last seen being dragged into a cavern in Malnok. We display these trophies to honor the ancients and guide their wisdom to us. The skulls remind me that death is always close at hand, theirs or your own. There is one skull I'm saving a place for. That of a goatman we've named Caller the Collector. It hunts north of here, openly feasting on our fallen. Caller has challenged us. Were you to bring me its damned ugly head, you would gain great favor with the tribe.
I will handle it.
Malnok was a settlement. Before, the Khazra sorcerers emerged from the mountain. Now, goatmen congregate there in large numbers. I've seen firsthand the foul magics they practice. You will need to shatter the Khazra before you can seek the Grizzly's Maul. Many have tried, but none have yet succeeded.
Yeah, because that's that place that was like level 45.
The Grizzly's Maul is from a time when we lived on Mount Arreat. A time when the children of Bolkathos carried it into battle against the demons that lay siege to the land. Our ancestors always reclaimed it whenever the wielder fell, just as we do now. Baltok, though wounded, refused to let the Grizzly's Maul leave his hands as he was dragged away.
And now he's probably an evil zombie that I'm gonna have to kill to get.
The beast stands atop a mound of gore. Our chieftain has forbidden any further attempts from our warriors to claim the kill.
Win favor. Thank you.
So I can two right there. It still says, I believe, let me get a lot closer. It's still level 45, so it hasn't gone up. Hey, if I do those 2 quests, I'll only be 9 side quests away from being done. this guy? Rings. Swords, gloves, and amulet. So
caught a rare one.
okay, I don't lose the aspect. Okay. That's cool. Alright. Well, it's that time again. Actually, I think I might skip the side quests. Because if I do all of my available side quests, I mean, one I can't do yet. And I'll spend another 3+ hours doing all those side quests. and I really want to do complete Act 1 today, so. But thank you for watching, and have a good day.